Good morning. My name is Lee Bowden. It's a Monday, so I thought I'd do a little bit more detailed, a little bit more straightforward revealing. Hopefully I'll be able to refer to this video when I talk about this stuff later on. I have been going really deep into my emotions, into my thinking, into my healing. And and like I discussed in my last video, I've been kind of taking a step back to look at not how I feel about my work, but like how my work is actually being presented through myself to my audience. So like kind of that middle ground of like my message meeting the audience and what that actually looks like outside of myself. So in that regard, I realized that a lot of this is kind of like looks a little bit outlandish. Like I've tried to give the resources and things and will always do, but it's another to kind of hear the process and actually what I'm really doing is. So I have my two main books that I have been working with for my healing is this Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils book, with and without essential oils. And then Donna Eden's, and I've showed this before too, Energy Medicine by Donna Eden. So, for example, your body has aches and pains all over it all the time. Well, each of those areas are resonant to certain emotions and certain energies, and those energies can get trapped in your body. So depending on where in your body you're having aches and pains and what you're actually dealing with may depend, on a couple of different things. So there's just a couple things that I run through and check for myself. Donna has all of the meridians outlined, and these are actually ways that you can trace your meridians and put energy back or take energy out of certain areas. So the first thing I can do is kind of look, like for example, I had on my right here on the inner part of my arm, like has been really just sore. Like it's got a lump in it that's there 1 second, like a muscle pain, and then the next it's totally fine. And so I've been trying to pay attention as to like when my arm starts to hurt and like what's going on. My husband has been being really good about he's always been really good at massage, like naturally just very inclined at natural massage and like following the muscle and pulling out the knot. Well, now we're kind of applying his same kind of sensitive touch to like these energy meridian systems. So we didn't know there's 3 meridians that this arm issue could have been, because there's 3 that were kind of close in the picture, right? And so I wasn't sure which one it was. I kind of intuitively had a guess, but I wasn't quite sure. So later at night, he massaged my hand, and the energy from that pain came out this finger, which told me which meridian it was. So I kind of took that in and was like, okay, so it's related to this part of my body and this part of my energy system, so I can work with that. Now this is a great book, but it's mostly a reference book for points in the body, and the biggest, most helpful section to me is like the pages that have the actual emotions and the essential oil, the way out, the phrase, the opposite of it. So for example, irresponsible. If I'm feeling irresponsible, the opposite of that, or the other side of that, is acknowledgement. And then the way out phrase, the healing phrase, is I face reality and I'm responsible for my success. And then it gives me the essential oil if I want, and what chart page it's on, so BG. This is also another way to go about looking up what area of your body is hurting. So if there's a specific point on your chest or your back or your leg or whatever, if it's on one of these charts, then you can see, okay, well that's my, heart constrictor. So let's go look at then the heart constrictor is mentioned on another chart that lets you look up the body parts instead of by emotion, if you don't know what the emotion is. So this is all kind of the hands-on way to look up and pinpoint areas of your body. The other way to go about this, is identifying through muscle testing which emotion you're dealing with, and dealing directly with the emotional trauma and the memory, regardless of the meridians and things like that. So these are the actual ways that I'm going about my healing. So when I first started this, and kind of looking at the meridians and like the ones that were totally closed versus the ones that were like had energy to them and were like okay. Well, now that I've started this healing journey and I'm a lot more in tune with my energy decisions and I have a lot more energy to work with now that I have my root chakra open and even my higher chakras are open. So I'm feeling a lot more energized throughout the day, and thus I'm a lot more sensitive to the world around me because I'm a lot more open to it and I'm a lot more clear from it. So I'm gaining a lot more energy and I'm also giving a lot more back out to the world. So overall, I'm just feeling better, but overall, I'm also more sensitive. So when I first started, I like made a list of emotions that were in my heart center, just out of curiosity, like anything to do with the heart or like the heart wound or like the heart center all. And they were all, very heartache type of emotions. And I made this big old list and I've dealt with so many of them. And like there's a variety of issues of a particular timeline that we're all very wrapped up and tangled up in this certain kind of time frame in my life that I've mentioned several times now. And that's because it was all wrapped up in and kept up in like closing in my heart. So once I was like able to like open in my heart and be like, no, like this is stuff that I care about. Like these are people, these are situations that like, that's why this hurts so bad. And then realizing that I pushed all of that hurt and all of that stuff down. And I mentioned this in my red dirt, the red dirt road post, having to do with the root chakras. I used the color red to like push all those emotional things down so that my heart was available to still live my life. Right. So now that I've like worked through that root chakra energy stuff, a lot of my heart pain, now that the energy is lifted up there and I'm like feeling more to feel life and like there's more going on. I am feeling better. I don't have that, like when I first started this, I had this like huge, like it felt like a hole in my heart, like a huge wound. And I don't feel that way anymore. In fact, when I have like a lot of heart energy and I'm thinking about someone or someone thinks about me, like I feel that and I don't feel, it's not like a painful feel. It's a heart-centered feel. So, just been doing that process and it's working really well for me. So, and I go into more detail about my blog about, when these things just naturally arise throughout the day, when you're triggered by what someone says or what you see on an ad or what you read in a thing or what you see on Facebook that, upsets you, that triggers you. I'm just taking an extra moment to stop what I'm doing and like sit and think about it. And even better feel about it. And during this process, I can't tell you how many times I've just kind of like bubbled up and like gotten emotional about something that was maybe small, but it wasn't so small when I started thinking about it and feeling it and like discovering what that really meant for me, and why I was emotional about it. So I've really been just allowing myself to express whatever comes up. And I deal with those too. But the first thing that I do is try and, identify like, oh, I'm sad about this, or, oh, I feel like I'm missing out on this, or I feel like I failed in this way, or I feel resentful towards that, or I feel judged by this, or whatever it is. Like I try and identify the feeling and then also kind of try and notice too, if there's any particular part of my body that seems to be twitching, aching, like a pinching or pulling or just an energy flare, or things going numb. That can be a thing like that tingly numb feeling. These are all indications that if you notice, you can, after you process your emotions and stuff later on in the day, come back to the book and see what meridian and stuff and what energy system might actually be in trouble. Because there's a lot of meridians that do a lot of important things, and your heart center, your main meridian, your heart is really the only thing protected, in such a way that the other energy centers, the other energy meridians, they can all pull energy from each other. So if you're triple meridian, I talk about this again in that root chakra, or those root chakra posts. The triple warmer meridian is what governs your fight, flight, and response. system, which governs, you know, how stressful you are. And we're all so stressed out in a chaotic world that the triple marmot goes over, and the triple marmot is notorious for stealing the energy from all of your other systems to be able to fight, freeze, or run, right? So it pulls from everything but the heart center. So the triple marmot causes a lot of people a lot of problems. So if you know that you're having issues with a certain meridian, then that can go a long ways in rejuvenating that meridian, which rejuvenates that organ that it governs and goes through, which then in turn releases more emotions that may be stuck or being causing issues within that organ. So you can see how this is kind of a slow but preventative self-healing measures that really anyone can take with a little bit of love for themselves, an open mind for their heart, and love. It's just in a love place, because your heart and your energy of you is protected in your heart center. So if you are coming at yourself with love and respect and a willingness to experience so that you can live a better life, then there are processes now to be able to do this, and there wasn't before. So I'll put those 2 books down below and refer to this video often. So thank you so much for watching, for reading my posts, for supporting me on Patreon, and being part of my blog buddy program if you are. Like, I've got so much going on, and I really just want to help the world love more and experience more about their self, and live a more purposeful, loving life with themselves and other people. So I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you being here. I hope this stuff helps. And if you are just new to my channel because you stumbled along this, then please go over to my blog. I've got a lot more stuff over there. I'm kind of a long-winded writer, so there's lots of stuff over there for you. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.